unbelievably, he chose not just to weigh in via tweet and then statement the other day, but he went on Pod Save America, which is his old buddies who helped work on his in his White House, their podcast, and actually tried to blame what's happening in the Middle East, not on himself, that would be totally appropriate, but on all of us. We're all complicit. Listen to this, Senator.
If there's any chance of us being able to act constructively to do something, it will require an admission of complexity and maintaining what on the surface may seem contradictory ideas. That what Hamas did was horrific and there's no justification for it. And what is also true is that the occupation and what's happening to Palestinians is unbearable. That all of us are complicit to some degree. I look at this and I think back, what could I have done during my presidency to move this forward as hard as I tried? I've got the scars to prove it. But there's a part of me that's still saying, well, was there something else I could have done?
Gee, Senator, could you help him out?
What utter and complete bullshit. Was there something else you could have done? Here's an idea. Don't give $100 billion to the monsters who are committing these massacres. Barack Obama led the effort to flood cash into Iran. The Ayatollah in Iran leads mobs chanting death to America and death to Israel. They want to commit mass murder. They want to eliminate the state of Israel. They want to murder every Jew. Hamas, more than 90% of the funding of Hamas comes from Iran. Hezbollah, more than 90% of the funding from Hezbollah comes from Iran. Barack Obama funded them. And then you listen, he says, well, what Hamas did was indefensible and there's no justification for it. But let me give a justification for it. And he then says, he actually uses the same line that the radicals at Harvard did. And of course, Barack Obama is a graduate of the Harvard Law School, just a few years ahead of me. And his justification, he says, the occupation is unbearable. What occupation? This is a lie. And it's a lie the radical left pushes. Gaza is not occupied. Israel left Gaza. Israel gave Gaza to the Palestinians, said it's all yours. Israel doesn't govern Gaza. Israel doesn't control Gaza. Gaza is run by Hamas. Hamas is in charge of Gaza. There is zero occupation in Gaza of anyone other than the Palestinians. And why is Gaza such a miserable place with so much poverty? Because all they care about is their vicious, racist hatred of Jews. And so internationally, billions of dollars have flooded into Gaza. And what happens? Hamas takes that money, the money that could go to building schools, to building hospitals, and they use it to build weapons of war to attack and kill Jews. They get money for water pipes to have clean water for Palestinian children. And what do they do instead? They cut the water pipes into rockets and they fill them with explosives to murder Jews. And go back a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember the story that the corporate media broadcast all over the world, which is that Israel bombs a Palestinian hospital, murders 500 Palestinians? We now know that was an utter and complete lie. It was a lie that was spread by Hamas. And there are a couple of things going on. Number one, Israel uses precision-guided munitions. They hit what they aim at. They do not target hospitals. They target military targets. Hamas and the terrorists, they don't have guidance on their rockets. Their rockets are basically a metal tube with some propellant, an explosive, and a bunch of shrapnel, nails and ball bearings, and they fire them in the general direction of Israel and hope they explode and kill some Jews. And about 20% of the rockets that Hamas fires never make it out of Gaza. They end up exploding in Gaza and hurting Palestinians. In this instance, it was a rocket fired by Palestinian Islamic Jihad that had no guidance system, so it ended up crashing in Gaza. It didn't actually hit the hospital. Turns out the hospital wasn't hit. It exploded in the parking lot outside the hospital. So it was a lie that Israel bombed it. It was a lie that the hospital was hit, and it was a lie that 500 Palestinians were killed, and yet the New York Times, CNN, the AP, Reuters, they all went with Hamas's lie. By the way, Rashida Tlaib continued repeating the lie after it had been disproven because the propaganda was part of the attack, and Barack Obama repeats those lies. Let me say it again. The Gaza Strip is not occupied. When he says the occupation is unbearable, he is repeating an anti-Semitic lie because the radical left hates Israel. Barack Obama loathes Benjamin Netanyahu. He spent 8 years undermining the government of Israel, and now Joe Biden has spent the last 3 years undermining the government of Israel because in their cultural Marxist worldview, the Israelis, the Jews are the oppressors, and they want to topple the oppressors, and they stand with the victims even as they're murdering women and children.
It is amazing to look at his struggle session. Gee, is there anything I could have done differently? Anything? You funded Iran. You tried to normalize Iran. They're the ones funding this entire thing, that entire attack against the Israelis. No responsibility whatsoever. Gee, I'll have to kick it around. Maybe if Michelle runs for president, this will come up. After a crazy day of politics as usual, we all deserve an uplifting dose of plush perfection. And when I say plush perfection, I am talking about the seriously soft and incredibly comfy cuddle blanket from Cozy Earth. Here is why you're going to be addicted to the cuddle blanket. First of all, it's just amazing. It's awesome. The cuddle blanket is a faux fur, that's nice, faux, ultra plush pile blanket that literally wraps you in a soft, warm cocoon of pure luxury. Oh, I have one. It's like heaven on earth. You wrap it around you and the stress of the day melts away. The cuddle blanket is generously sized so you can easily share that warmth. And speaking of sharing, it's perfect for gifting. Everyone loves a blanket as a gift. It doesn't matter what you've earned, what you haven't earned, where you are, where you live, where you don't live. Everyone loves a cuddle blanket. It's double-sided. It's perfectly weighted, like a warm, comforting hug, even draped over your sofa or armchair. Its neutral color and faux fur texture adds a touch of warmth to any space. Elevate your cozy moments with the cuddle blanket. Hurry, save 40% off the cuddle blanket now. This offer will not last, so go to CozyEarth.com, enter my promo code Megyn for 40% off now. That's CozyEarth.com, promo code MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.